Welcome to this week's science lesson on materials, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we've been looking at different materials for the last 2 weeks. You've been looking inside your house. You've been looking outside your house. Today we're going to look at comparing the suitability of different materials. So suitability is why we use particular materials for those objects. So today we're going to be comparing the suitability of different everyday materials, some of the ones you've come across in the last couple of weeks like metal and wood and paper. You're going to explain why different materials can be used to make the same object and which properties make some materials better than others or not so good as others. So what do we mean by properties? So you can pause it here if you want to and talk to your grown-up about what properties actually are, or you can just carry on listening to me. So a property is how you might describe a material. So you could have something that is hard. And sometimes you want things that are hard and strong, so you use those types of materials. Sometimes you want something that is soft. Sometimes you want something that is stretchy. Sometimes you want something that is stiff. So hard and soft, stretchy and stiff, they are opposites. Sometimes you want one of them, sometimes you want another. You could have shiny or dull. Rough or smooth. Bendy or not bendy. Absorbent, which means it keeps the water in, or not absorbent. Waterproof, to keep the rain off. Not waterproof, to get the water to stay in it. Transparent or opaque. What do you think transparent and opaque mean? Transparent means you can see something, see through it. And opaque means you can't. If you look at the person down the bottom, you can see them in the transparent picture, but in the opaque, it just looks like a purple rectangle. So we don't say see-through. That's not a very scientific word. We use the word transparent. And you're going to be using these words in your activity today. So when you come to do the activity, it might be worth going back through this video and pausing on this screen, because this will help you be really useful, and also it means you can spell the words correctly, because some of these words are a little bit tricky to spell. Let's carry on. So the reason for using certain materials, and again you can talk to your grown-up about this. Why do you think window panes are made from glass? Why glass and not paper or wood? What is it about glass that makes it a good material for window panes? And why wouldn't any other materials be as suitable? Have a little chat with your grown-up now. I think the answer is pretty obvious though. So which materials? Sometimes you get different materials for the same thing. Take a ruler, for example. And a lot of you had a ruler in different sections of your worksheet from week 1. When might we want to use a plastic ruler? When might we want to use a wooden ruler? Or a metal ruler, for example? Which ones do we use in school? Have a think about that. Why do we have plastic rulers in school? Why not wooden ones or metal ones? Have you ever seen a wooden ruler? I have. To be fair, I'm really old, so when we were at school we had wooden rulers. But you can get metal ones as well. Who might use a metal ruler? And then spoons. Can you get spoons made of different materials? Why are they made of different materials? What's the point of that? When would you use a spoon made of metal, for example? When would you use a spoon made of plastic? Have you ever seen a paper spoon or a wooden spoon? Who would use them and why? Have a little think about that now. Talk to your grown-up. Pause the video if you need to. We're going to talk about it in a second. Had a little chat? Got an answer? Right. So, although these materials are all suitable for spoons, we can have wooden spoons, metal spoons, plastic spoons, but when would you use certain ones? So which spoon would you give a toddler to eat their dinner with? Would you give them a metal spoon, plastic spoon, wooden spoon? Think about what you use, or what a baby sister or a baby brother might use. What about a spoon you make a cake with? When you're mixing a mixture for a cake, what spoon would you use? And then which spoon would you use to eat soup with? Plastic spoon? Metal spoon? Wooden spoon? Why? Why couldn't you use one of the other ones? Have another little chat with a grown-up. Or just have a chat to yourself if they're not around. So, suitability means having the properties that are right for a specific purpose. So using it at the right time. So metal, wood and plastic are all suitable materials for spoons. Metal, we use metal in spoons because they are strong and they last a long time. Wood is suitable because it's strong and has high heat tolerance. That means it can be used in something that's really hot and actually it doesn't seem to matter that much. A plastic spoon is suitable because it's light and it's cheap. So who would use? Go back, think about what we just looked at. Which one would you use when you're making a cake? Which one would you use for a toddler? Which one would you use to eat a soup with? Why wouldn't you give a metal spoon to a toddler? Would you ever have a chocolate teapot? What's wrong with a chocolate teapot? Have a think. And then, would you ever use paper to build a house that you could live in? Why? Why not? Why couldn't we have paper? Have a think about that. What would happen if your house was completely and utterly made of paper? The roof made of paper, the walls made of paper, the door made of paper. What would happen if it was snowing or really warm? Or if there was a fire? What would happen to that house? And then finally, a coat hanger. Would you make a coat hanger out of glass? Would you make one out of cardboard? Plastic? Paper? Metal? Wood? Rock? Brick? Go and have a look in your house now. What coat hangers can you find? Are they made out of glass, cardboard, plastic, paper, metal, wood? Why have they chosen particular ones? Are coat hangers made of two different materials? And why do you think that might be? Right, we're going on to our activity now. So if you want to have time to discuss and go and have a look for coat hangers, go ahead. I think you might be surprised. So today's activity is in two parts. The first part is a really simple one. On this side, you've got the object, and on this side, you've got the material. And I want you to match the object to the material. And the first one's done for you. So mirror, we would use glass. And that's obviously the main bit of the mirror. You wouldn't use wood to make the bit of the mirror because you wouldn't be able to see in it, or you'll see your reflection in it. But then you've got the coat hanger, pillow, rabbit hutch, chair, house. Which one of those is the best material for those? So that's the first one. The second part is a little bit trickier, and to be fair, the bit that's stuck in your book is quite small. And if you don't think you're going to be able to write that small, you might want to either reprint it, or you could just draw it straight into your book that looks like this. So here we've got 3 sections. The description of what it is, the material you would choose to make that, and you might be able to look at the previous activity to help you with that, and then why is it suitable. So this is the bit that you need to go and have a look at those properties for. Is it stretchy? Does it need to be stretchy? Does it need to be hard? Does it need to be transparent? Waterproof? Soft? Dull? Shiny? Why? So here we've got a hutch to keep a rabbit in. It has to be kept outdoors and keep the rabbit warm and dry. So what material is it made from? Is it made from more than one material? And why has that material been used? So you think if it's being kept outside, warm and dry, are we going to use paper? What would happen if it rained and we had a rabbit hutch made of paper? Or the rabbit might even be able to eat through the paper. So I want you to fill in these 4 sections. And that's it. That's science today. And then we're going to be moving on to something different next week. So good luck with the activity. I look forward to seeing what materials you are going to use.